Welcome back to Autism Live. Each Thursday, we try to do a mindfulness moment, a little tip about a way that we can exercise mindfulness, because you know, mindfulness has been shown to help reduce anxiety. And a lot of times people think, of course, that we're talking about meditation. And for many of us, that's an immediate turn off of, oh, I don't have time. You know, I'm not good at that. I don't know how to do it. It doesn't work for me, whatever the thing is that stops you. But the truth is that mindfulness is about much more than meditation. It's about being present and being mindful, being in the moment. And the thing is that when you can be in this moment and not in any other moment, it's very freeing. And it allows you to be present, to experience things and find joy, to experience joy in the real moment, because joy doesn't exist in any other moment than the present, right? So we give you little tips and tricks of things to do even while we're in our busy lives. So right now, it's the holidays for a lot of people, and there is a part of the holidays that can get hectic, right? Especially the whole idea of putting food on the table, and then there's the hecticness of that there's a lot more sugar available if you're going to parties and events, or there's things in the grocery store to pick from that tend to be different food than what we might eat the rest of the year, right? And you might be preparing more food than you normally do, or taking food from restaurants. It's different for different people. But here's the thing, if we can be mindful about however we sit down to a meal. So for instance, for those of you who are preparing food, whether it's for a big gathering or just for you, to take a moment while you're preparing the food to be mindful. If you need to, some people have a hard time settling into the moment without languaging it in their head. You can language it in your head and go, you know, the celery is wet, I can feel it, and be talking to yourself in your head and saying, and I'm now going to cut the celery, and I'm cutting small pieces, and what does it smell like? Keep checking in with your senses. But if you need to language it, do. Eventually, the ideal place to get to is that you just experiencing it without having to narrate it. But to start with, it's perfectly acceptable to be narrating it. Just keep checking in with your senses. It looks like this, it smells like this, it feels like this. I think you'll find that it takes you back in time, even while you're being present, to being the innocence of a child when you were helping to prepare food with whoever it was that prepared food. Because, you know, there's the first time with cutting the celery, and it's wet and it has a scent and it feels a certain way, right? I love to make meatballs with kids, and they put their hands in and they squish. You gotta, you know, put gloves on them or wash their hands super duper good because it's raw meat. But there's the same thing with mixing cookie dough and making trail mix, all these different things. And it really is something that you can do with the whole family. It's not just you being present with the food, but getting your kids to be present with the food. And ideally, that would be maybe while you're preparing something, right? And talk to them about, what does it feel like? Are the raisins squishy? What do they smell like? Can you smell the smell of the raisins and the fruit? It's really a very exciting thing to do with a child, and you'll find that they get a little bit more connected to the food and they want to taste it once they've had their hands in it. So there's that. Now, if you're not preparing any food, you can still do this with takeout food, or if you go to a restaurant, they bring the food and you can take a moment and just look at the plate and smell what you smell and see what you see, and then pick up the fork and taste it, right? And you can have a conversation with the kids and the other people at the table about, what does it smell like? Oh, it smells like this. And people can have their reactions. Don't judge it. If somebody goes, ugh, it smells bad, you know, that's okay. You still are having your experience and connect with the food. It, first of all, makes the meal more enjoyable, because meals are meant to be seen and smelled as well as tasted, right? And there is a feel to food when you're preparing it, sometimes when you're eating it, right? So take some time to enjoy the senses around the food. you will find that you will get more mindful in that moment, and you will be more mindful about what you're taking in, and you'll taste it. Sometimes we eat in such a hurry and it's like, I didn't even taste it, right? But when you get mindful around food, you taste it. And around the holidays, it's a great time to work on this. It slows things down a little bit, and you appreciate, if you're eating something that's high sugar and high fat, well, you might as well appreciate it, right? And if you're eating healthy, if that's the choice that you've decided to make, then, fully embrace and enjoy how great it tastes. So all of those things help us to be mindful during the holidays.